All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the iBUG Android Insight for May 18th, 2022. So, this is an open forum where we discuss all things related to the Android platform, Google devices, Alexa devices, all kinds of things. It's a broad spectrum of devices that we talk about here. Uh, with that, we are going to go over some announcements and housekeeping matters just before we. So, what we normally do here is we have question and answers. So, we do not use the hand raise feature. So, if you have a question, just wait till there's a break in the action and say your name. And then I will recognize you, and then we will get your question answered. And that same protocol of announcing yourself will apply when you want to answer a question or help answer a question. Let's see. The other thing, just quick like announcements as far as iBUG is what things are going on here. This week we have tomorrow, if anybody is a Star Trek fan, we watch the episodes ahead of time and then discuss them. We have a discussion group, and that will be from 8 p.m. Central to 9:30 tomorrow on Thursday. And we're in the Next Generation Season 4, episodes 16 and 17. Then on Friday nights, we have a virtual movie night where we listen to audio described movies. And this movie for Friday is at 8 p.m. Central. And it's called A Room with a View, and it's based on the novel by E.M. Forster. And so it's an Oscar winner. So we hope you'll come and check it out. We have some social time prior to the movie. And then after the movie, we have a discussion and trivia. Then on Saturday, we have our iBUG Apple workshop, and it's a special one because we'll be celebrating our 11th anniversary. And that will be from 2 to 4 on this. So all the events that I've mentioned so far are on this same Zoom conference line. So we'll have a little reflection of what we've, been doing, and some activities. We'll have a game, some games, some entertainment, and so should be fun. And also we'll be doing a drawing. We're a nonprofit, and so we're doing a little fundraiser. And for a $10 donation, you have a chance to win $500 gift card to the Apple Store. And for $50, you have a chance, you can have 6 tickets, and that will improve your chances. So the drawing will be at the meeting. You need not be present to win, and the information for purchasing the tickets are on our website. Let's see. Social media. iBUG Today is our website, ibugtoday.org. ibugtoday.org is our website. Best place to get all the information and subscribe. And all of our services are free there. If you would like information for subscribing specifically to the Android, because there is a specific Android mailing distribution list, and that is iBUG Android Insight plus subscribe at groups.io. I know it's a mouthful, right? iBUG Android Insight plus subscribe at groups.io. And we'll repeat that at the end, but then you can get specifically emails that are pertaining to information coming out of our group right here. Okay. Let's see. So we have, like I said, I mentioned the website. We have Facebook, facebook.com/group/iBUG today. We have a Twitter is at iBUG today, and an email in case you'd like to contact us is ibugtoday@gmail.com. All right, so this is basically where we're going to be answering and asking questions and helping to solve your issues that you're having. And so with that, we will unmute and we'll go around and say your name and where you're from and possibly what types of Android devices you have. And that will kind of help us gauge where people are. So hang on 1 second. All right. And all right, so I'm Sandhya in Houston, and I have multiple A ladies all over the house and a Pixel 5, I think. All right, who's next? Oh, and I'm sorry. Everybody should be able to unmute. Oh, I didn't explain how to unmute. I'm not doing a good job here. Okay, so to unmute, if you're on the Zoom app, it's to the left corner, bottom corner, the toggle to mute and unmute. If you're on a standard, if you're on a Windows PC, it's Alt A. If you're on a Mac, it's Command Shift A. If you're on a regular landline, it's *6. And our facilitators for tonight are Ava and Hershey, and they will be helping us with all the questions that will be coming forth. Okay, so now hopefully you can unmute and you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi. This is Shri.
Okay, Shri, welcome.
Hi, this is Rhonda from Boston.
Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Good.
How are you?
Good, long time. And what kind of devices do you have again?
I'm a new Android Samsung tablet user.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Well, very good to hear your voice, Miss Rhonda. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have Shri.
Shri from Virginia, and I don't have any Android phone devices, but I have a lot of A-lady devices around the house.
All right. Okay, very good. Thank you, Shri. Who else? Just remember, you have to unmute.
Okay, well, I'll go.
Okay.
This is Ava. I'm one of the facilitators.
Yay.
And I have several A-ladies. I have a few Google devices and increasing on those. So
okay.
I just like my toys.
I know. I'm going to come to your house. Okay. Thank you, Ava.
And here goes the other facilitator. I'm Hershey from Daytona Beach, Florida. And I have a Note 9, which is my all-time favorite, but upgraded to the S22 Ultra. And then I also have a Pixel 4 XL. And then as far as speakers and smart devices, I have a couple Nest Hubs and a Nest Audio and a Mini. So quite a handful there. But as far as Amazon stuff, I have Fire Sticks. But hopefully it'll be a great show, and would love to hear all the questions and all the excitement because, Sandhya, you didn't realize this, but I know you're all worried about WWDC in June, but Google had Google I/O. So hopefully this audience is a little bit rowdy today, and we'll have some questions of what's going on with Android and, what did Google talk about at Google I/O? And if you have any questions with your Pixel 5 that you have.
All right. Thank you, Hershey.
Sure.
All right. Who else do we have?
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
I have
where is Kevin? Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Austin, Texas. And I have a few Echo Dots. I have a Nest Mini, a Nest Audio, and a Google Home Max. I have a Chromecast with Google TV. And I have a Pixel 6, a Pixel 4, and a Galaxy S21, and a Galaxy Watch 4.
You can tell us what you don't have, Kevin, right? All right. Wow.
Do you have a Sony?
Okay.
Don't have a Sony yet.
Favorites. Back button.
Kevin. All right.
Add
Who
to
else
favorites.
do we
Speech
have?
off.
Anybody else did get a chance? Say hi.
All right, this is Foster from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Foster.
I have couple of Google Minis, uh,
Kind of
Echo
fading in
Dot,
and out.
saying the one.
Boss, you're kind of fading in and out. Can you say that
I
again?
have an Echo Dot, Echo 4th generation, a OnePlus 8 phone. I also have the original Google Chromecast and then the Chromecast with Google TV. And I have Asus Chromebook 5.
Okay. Thank you, Foster. Okay. Who else do we have? Anybody else? Give everybody a chance. Okay. There are no shy people here. I see Mr. Cole is here. You want to say hello, Marvin? And Tammy is out there. Okay, well, maybe y'all will speak up in a little bit. Okay. All right. Well, so with that, what we will do this is be our just say so we don't use the hand raise feature. So go ahead and just say your name, and then I'll recognize you. So who is that? Oh, okay. Rhonda has her hand raised. Rhonda, do you have a question? Or maybe that was a mistake. Okay.
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
So I have a friend of mine who called me up and asked me, how do I delete an app on an Android phone? So can you guys tell me how to remove an app?
All right. Thank you, Shri, for that question. Okay. Hershey or Ava?
Yes. Ava, I'll let you handle as far as the explanation. I'm going to get stuff ready for Shri, maybe.
Okay. Ava? All right.
Okay, so there's a couple ways to do it. What kind of phone? Is it Samsung or is it a Pixel?
You know, I didn't. This is Shri. I'm sorry. I didn't ask what device she had. She just asked me, how do I do it? And I said, well,
no worries.
I'll get back with you.
So here's a couple different manners of it. What a lot of people like doing is using action menus. Those are typically where, let's say on your iPhone, you see how it says drag and copy and edit and those kind of things. It kind of runs similarly to that menu. The other thing is just double tapping and holding the icon. So let's say if it's Facebook, you double tap and hold, and then you look for that big, awesome button that says uninstall, and then you uninstall Facebook. And, you know, to most extents that would uninstall, but an app like Facebook is an app that sometimes gets given to you through their carriers. So it's not always unremovable. Second way to do it, if you go to your Play Store, you search for the specific app, you could hit the uninstall button. And then thirdly, the action menus, as I mentioned, you could use your Talkback gestures and set actions as a customized gesture, as I do. And what that basically does is anything you double tap and hold on an icon, it will read it out to you and say, hey, the first one is this, second icon is uninstalled, the third item is app info. So let's say somebody says, hey, Shri, go clear up your cache and see if that helps. This is exactly the same procedure. You take the icon, double tap and hold, and you'll get those extra buttons appear. And that's where you could choose. It's kind of like the 3D touch for iPhone, and you'll get those extra menu options where uninstall could be there. And then if it's where you're already in, let's say, Play Store, or if you're on your computer even, I think you could log in through your Play Store or your Google account, so play.google.com. And then if you go to uninstall, it should take it off any device that you selected to take that app off of it. So there's multitude of ways, but just wanted to give, I wanted to get more specifics. And later down the show, if we could, if we have more questions like this, I'll jump on with my phone with my Samsung S22 Ultra, and we'll remove that for you.
All
Great,
right.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Hershey. Okay, Herbie. I mean, Shree, good question. All right, who's next with a new question? Anybody?
And I wanted to say, this is Kevin from
Yes.
Austin.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to say that if they have the new Talkback, to get to those actions that he was talking about before you set up a custom gesture, is you tap once with 3 fingers to open up the Talkback menu, and actions is the first thing in the Talkback menu. So you would tap once with 3 fingers, and then you would double tap on actions and remove, but you have to be in the app drawer. So you want to swipe up with 2 fingers, not from the very bottom because that'll take you home, but swipe up with 2 fingers to open the app drawer and then navigate to the app that you want to uninstall. Tap once with 3 fingers and then double tap on actions. But once you get that custom gesture set up, I have mine swiping up with 3 fingers, then you don't have to do those first 2 steps.
And I'm going to take this from you here, Sandhya, real quick. Since Kevin has said that, he's exactly correct. So what I'm going to do, as Kevin told me to do, is hit with 3 fingers, tap on my screen. And my phone didn't do nothing, or did it? It did, but I'm not hearing it. So let's turn her up.
Copy last, spell last spoke. Copy last.
So you're hearing that now. And I'm going to go back to my home screen.
Spotify.
Pretty low. It's still pretty low, Hershey.
Okay, I'll turn up.
Amazon Shopping. Prime Video.
Okay.
That should be good
Title.
right there.
YouTube. 6 notifications.
So I'm just on my random old screen. 3 finger tap.
Talkback menu. Actions. In list.
That's the first one we were talking about, actions. I'll double
Actions.
tap.
Move item. In list.
I could
Remove from home screen.
remove from home screen.
Disable item.
Disable it.
Cancel. Button. Disable. Remove. Move item. Actions.
That's
out
because
of.
you're on the home
Move from
screen.
disable
Go
item.
to the app drawer.
Right. I was just going to give you an example. So like if
yeah.
we did the 3 fingers, as you said, this is what you would stumble upon.
Yes.
So you have to keep focus on an app for the action to work correctly. If I just took his directions for what it was worth, they were correct. But I'm not highlighted or focused on an item. So currently, this is not going to work out because it's not giving me the option that I want to do specifically. So if I were to, let me back out. I'll go to my last screen here of random apps.
Disney Plus. Discord. Teams.
Okay, I don't want Teams maybe anymore. So Teams is already
Talkback menu.
selected.
Actions. In list.
I have actions there. Double tap.
Actions. Move item.
I can move it.
Remove from home screen.
Remove from
Uninstall
home
item.
screen. I can uninstall it.
Uninstalled. Teams. Do you want to uninstall this app? Out of list. Cancel. But okay. But one iHome.
And say
Uninstall
bye-bye,
Teams.
Teams, and
Teams. In
There you
pager.
are.
Pick.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Hershey. Okay. Very good. All right. Who's got the next question? New topic? Or clarification on that?
Hi, this is Rhonda.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I do have a question. So I'm an iOS user too. So this whole navigation process is new to me. But what I'm finding is when I do a 3-finger swipe up, I get sort of like the where I can navigate by characters, all the speech, adjust the speech, paragraph, and so forth. Is there a way to change that to a different gesture?
All right. And just to clarify, you're on a tablet, right?
It's a tablet. It's a Samsung tablet.
Okay. So, anybody want to help her out?
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
What do you want the 3 fingers to do?
I wanted to be able to close an app.
Okay, so when you are in the app drawer, when you are in the recent apps or the app switchers, as the other operating system calls it, you swipe up with 2 fingers, not 3 fingers, to close an app.
Okay.
So that you can also open up actions. I don't think you can customize that gesture because it is a duplication. Because if you swipe to the left or right with 3 fingers, it does the same thing. So that is an assignable gesture, that 3 fingers swipe up or down, that you can change to something else. But I don't know if close app is in there because there is an Android gesture for closing apps, and that's swiping up with 2 fingers, not 3 fingers.
Okay.
So I think I know what Miss you're trying to recreate some iPhone gestures there, right? I see what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but so Kevin, you're saying that the standard Android gesture is a 2-finger swipe up. That's what will close
Yes,
an
that will
app.
close an app when you're in the app drawer, the app switcher.
Okay, the app drawer is like the app switcher.
Yes.
So sorry, not the app drawer, the recent apps. I'm sorry, Samsung calls it recent
apps. Okay.
It's on the left-hand side by default next to the home button.
Okay, well, this is helpful. Okay, well, very good. Thank you, Kevin. Good question, Rhonda. All right.
And while I have the microphone, I just wanted to give
Go ahead.
Foster thank you because he helped me make my decision to go with an Android tablet. So, and help me go through different options. So I just wanted to update and to give him recognition for his assistance.
All right. Good job, Foster. Thank you. Okay. Very good. All right. Who's next? Or we have a new question? Or
It's Foster.
hello, Foster. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, anybody else have any other phones besides Samsung or Pixel that's on the call tonight?
Does anybody else have something besides a Pixel or a Samsung?
Samsung.
Okay.
Foster almost got that Sony, man. That Sony's too good, but price is too
Oh,
good
it's
too.
too
This is
expensive
Hershey.
too. Yeah.
So does anybody have what he is asking?
This is Kevin. I have a
Go ahead, Kevin.
tablet. I have a Fire tablet.
That don't
I
count for
have
what
an
I'm asking about.
iPhone.
Hang on.
No, Android, just Android.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So take that as a no, Foster.
No,
What were you
okay.
trying to do?
No, it's just if you have like these, well, if you have what is it called? Android One is very similar to like Android for the Pixel, and whatever gestures work in the Pixel almost pretty much work the same in Android One. If you have some people have Nokia, or I think there's some Motorola phones that have Android One. And those phones, if you want the pure Android experience or closest to it, if it says Android One, you could buy one of those without the premium price point. I was trying to say.
Okay. So you're able to use the same gestures that you would. Okay. Well, that's cool. So you wanted to see if anybody's tried it yet.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, not yet, I guess. So.
And I think, Rhonda, you're a low vision user, right?
Miss Rhonda, you need to unmute.
She was the one that helped get this make the choice for the tablet, right?
Right. She was just thanking you. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's all I had.
That's all you have. Okay. Thank you, Foster. Okay. Who's next? Anybody new? A question or issue? Everybody can have a turn. Any question? Could be about a device or a gesture or how do I do whatever? Why isn't my phone doing whatever? Okay, well, I will throw out a quick question. My assistant reader at work I don't know. There's something wrong. She has a Pixel 6, I think. And so she has her own personal phone, and then this is the work phone. And so whenever I call her, after a break or whatever, I call her, and then it goes to voicemail. And she says she's there, and I believe her, but it's going straight to voicemail, and we can't figure out. And then other times she said that she has set my number with a ringtone, and it doesn't consistently work. So any thoughts? I mean, is there a way to like reset the phone, or is it like, I don't know if y'all have like comparable to do not disturb. I'm sure you do, but any thoughts on that as to what we should do?
This is Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin.
What are you calling her from your personal phone?
Another work phone, but it's an iPhone.
It's probably not catching that. She may have a setting set to where, so there's a way that you can do the call screen on the Pixel 6, and it'll come in and she can have the virtual assistant talk to you because you're kind of like an unknown number. So one fix is to
hold on.
you.
She's cited. So does that
Yeah,
matter?
no, this is for
Anybody.
That's call screen is for everybody that has a Pixel 6.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is happening is that she has something that I said there's a setting in there that says all unknown numbers, or people that are not in my contacts, send them straight to voicemail, and then she can go and call you back. So one solution would be to make sure that you're in her contacts with that number. That would be one way to get around it. And then she can also go in there, and I think she can go into the settings and allow your number, because you can see your blocked text messages and your blocked number, like your numbers that went straight to voicemail, and you can allow them through. So, but I'm thinking that if she adds you to her contacts, if you're not already there, that will fix the problem.
Okay.
This is Ava.
Yes, Ava.
Is this a new phone for her, or is this one
Yes.
she's been having? Okay, then I've had that same problem, and if she just moved her SIM card over, I know T-Mobile was telling, and it depends on what carrier is she with, because I know with T-Mobile they were telling me to change the SIM card out, put in a brand new SIM card if I didn't use the SIM card that came with the phone. But it seemed like that happened to me after I got an update, but also T-Mobile was doing something with their towers, and especially between the Sprint towers and their towers. So the first thing is to try what Kevin said first. The next is to talk with the carrier, because they had me do an update or a refresh on a setting in my phone. And then the other thing is, if she moved her SIM card over from her old phone to the new phone, then she may want to get a new SIM card and try it, because the problem I was having, it did correct itself after 2 updates.
Okay. Well, to answer some of that, to the earlier point Kevin said about am I in her contacts? Well, she said she created a contact for me and assigned it a ringtone. So that, I would think that means I'm a contact, but I don't know if there's something else she needs to do. As far as the SIM card and all that, I mean, I don't think she physically did anything. I mean, work people set all this up, so I don't know if they took her old SIM card or what. I don't know all the details, but I was hoping for some kind of a reboot or reset or something. But
Sandhya.
yes.
So this is Hershey, by the way, and to explain the three points here. So the scam shield is a thing with Pixel phones, so that is something to look into, because that could be the culprit. Just as it might think of the number as a scam, but as you're giving us information, like you're saved in, with the ringtone and all of that, that all sounds correct to me. But the places to check. So Ava and I tried to call Ava after last month's call, and it went straight to our voicemail. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Did I say something? And it was a T-Mobile SIM card. Now I have a Sprint phone I have my Note 9. My Note 9 was not getting phone calls. I almost missed a dryer delivery just because of that situation. And they wanted me to always get the T-Mobile SIM card. Now, when I got my S22 Ultra, I was a little apprehensive and I didn't want to switch over to T-Mobile, and I was just a little apprehensive. So when they sent me over the phone, I didn't activate it. I got it on March 1st. I didn't activate it for almost 12, 14 days because I was still in love with my Note 9. Go to Best Buy. They called Sprint for me, and Sprint told me that their towers are shut down on 21st of March. So they didn't want me to use my SIM card from the T-Mobile side. Now, talk about the T-Mobile side of things. They are switching towers left and right, and there's a lot of new stuff going on. So if you're not getting a call due to those circumstances where maybe you're in a building and it's just going to voicemail, that could be a mismatch in towers. That has happened to me and Ava with that situation, and it's happened to me personally on my other Note 9 and just personal phone calls. Now, the second thing, as Kevin's explained, is kind of similar to how you would check around Do Not Disturb. You want to first make sure Do Not Disturb is maybe off just to test it. And then you're sitting next to each other and, you're calling each other. See if it works then. Second step, go to the Scam Shield and go dive into what the Scam Shield stuff is all about. Then see and look for where you see trusted, allow this person regardless of Do Not Disturb or any of that. And if you go into those settings, you will find it. My Pixel 4 XL, unfortunately, is too dim, I think, for the audio, so I can't bring you on. Otherwise, I would show you just now how to kind of go about it. But I could try to bring it on. It's up to you. You guys can kick it back off. But it's a scenario of when you go to the settings, you want to do a checksum, and once you do those, you'll know where to pinpoint.
Okay.
SIM card. It might not even be any of that. So the way to kind of go about it is, D&D is Do Not Disturb. That's true. Make sure it's not checked or unchecked. Second is set that user as a trusted person. That will jump over D&D, Do Not Disturb, or any of the other stuff. And if Scam Shield somehow picks it up because T-Mobile keeps making all these new applications of scam this and scam that, and we still get bombarded, then that could be another way to look at it. So.
All right, and I think we're on Verizon. I think that's what.
Okay. So you might not even have to worry about this at all. And in that scenario, just to kind of isolate the problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, we had some new people join us, and just remember, this is a Q&A. So anybody have any questions, this is what we're here for. So please just say your name, and then I'll recognize you, and then
This is Kenny.
Go ahead, Kenny. Welcome.
I was curious to know about the new Pixels coming out. I know there's a Pixel, I think it's a 6A, and then I think the rest are 7s. Does anybody know
This is Kevin.
the difference between the 6A and a 7?
This is Hershey.
Kevin.
Who are you going to pick, Hershey or Kevin?
Kevin and then Hershey.
Go ahead, Kevin. No, go ahead, Kevin.
So the 6A is coming out first. They just kind of preempted all the leaks and stuff that come out, and just kind of gave an overview of the 7. But all we know is that the 7 is going to have an improved processor, but we don't know any of the other features, so that won't be until October. But the Pixel 6A is really a great device because you're getting the flagship processor, the top tier processor, the same processor that's in the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, but for $449. So you're still basically getting the same phone, but some of the parts might be, not as premium, but you're still basically getting the same phone. So I think it only has one camera, but it still has the Google camera processing. So in the past, the A devices, even though they were $349 or $400 or whatever, they were still producing top tier pictures. The pictures on the same level as the flagship devices. So if you're into picture taking, but it has 6 gigs of RAM. That's down from 8. on the standard Pixel, but it has the same, core processor and same camera smarts and all that, and all the latest updates. And I thought that they said, I have to go back through the announcement, but you can pre-order it on July 21st and it comes out on July 28th. And I thought they said that it ships with Android 13, and that's a little early for the next release of Android. It usually comes out in September, so that would be different also.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, Hershey?
Yes. So Kevin, you pretty much hit the points there, and yeah, $449 for the price. That is the 6A on the iPhone. Sheesh. What Sandhya does to us. Anyway, with the iOS side or the Pixel side, you do have the 7 and 7 Pro. And as far as the comparison, one's going to come out in the October timeframe as they usually do. And what is interesting and how I kind of took this is they fit the human scheme. So to kind of describe Google I/O, I will, if you guys want the link, I could distribute it. But Google, if you go to YouTube and just type in Google I/O audio described, they actually have a audio described version. So then the intro is quite interesting with all the different description of what they've showed to the audience and whatnot. But the Pixel Buds Pro are going to be coming out alongside with the 6A, I believe. And that's going to be, as he said, the July 21st pre-order date and ships by the 28th. On the latter part with the 7 and 7 Pro, the Pixel Watch will ship more than likely with that. So there is, put something in your ears, wear something on your wrist, and put something in your pocket. And that's kind of their scenario. But towards the end of the show, as they were talking about it, they were talking about, I guess I have to look at the ending because I don't know what it was without the audio description. And now on Saturday, they actually had a video come out. And with that, they have glasses that are going to give augmented reality and VR and all of that fun stuff. So that could be quite interesting in product recognition. And if Lookout goes into that product, that kind of thing, recognizing people, the way they explained it was a mother and a daughter were talking. Mother spoke in a Chinese language and she spoke in English, and it translated the language, but she was seeing the language being translated on a screen on those glasses. The description of how I've heard of them is they're the old nerdy, thick black glasses kind of look, but maybe that's a nice look. You might want to look like Superman, and then you never know what you do afterwards, right? So with any of those scenarios, they are coming out with quite some interesting things. And since we are at this juncture, at this point of the show, I want to also let everybody know that Braille display support is coming out, and that's going to be with Talkback. And I'm going to let Kevin handle that one because he teaches this stuff too. So like Kevin gets to kind of interact with it on a different level than I do. So I appreciate you so much, Kevin, for always coming through, giving great information. And Foster, you guys have always come through to Android Insight, and we definitely appreciate you guys coming out and giving out good information. So these are some events to look forward to. Who knows when the watch and the price and all that stuff will come out. Today I was talking to Ava right before we jumped on, and I was listening to a call or a YouTube video, and we might have 2 Samsung watches. So there are a lot of things in talk. Talkback is getting better. As I mentioned to you on the show before, Talkback is a baby, and it's grown into a little infant and little child, and here we are. It's about a teenager almost, but we got to make sure all the bad habits are gone now, and to do that, g.co/disability support. That's Google's email. That will get you information to email, to text message them, like chatting, to get connected via Be My Eyes, and to be honest, it is a really, really useful tool because I've had some key features that I complained about. One of them being for low vision users. I like using a customized gesture so I could hit a button or hit a gesture and then I get color inversion turned on. What is color inversion? Color inversion takes anything that might be a white background and then it'll turn it into a black background, kind of like a smart invert. And so I like to use that on my Pixel 4 XL a lot. I mean, it's useful, but on my Pixel S22, I can't use it as efficiently yet. And that's because the Talkback version is not updated. So if you have Pixel phones, you'll get the newest Talkback, and it's going to trickle down sooner or later. But this is kind of the escape of Android. Yes, there are some discussions that HID devices aren't supported with the Braille displays. But then again, it's not going to change overnight, but it is in discussion, I think, throughout, a lot of lists. People are all kind of going crazy, and I think that things should sort themselves out. I mean, I know there are other podcasts that I've heard along the way, so just hang tight, and please come back to Android Insight if you have questions, because then we could get in and dive in deeper with these. So thank you so much, guys.
All right. So Kenny, I hope that helps. Thinking about getting a new phone, Kenny?
This is Kenny with another comment.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One other spec that wasn't mentioned is the battery is, I think, a 4,005 milliamp battery. And if you compare apples to Google Pixel, it's a much bigger battery than what you would get for the same price point.
Yes.
For the
all
Pixel
about
6.
the battery.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Without the battery, you got nothing.
All right. Well, very good. Okay, just a reminder, we don't use the hand raise feature, and I see that I thought Miss Nancy, you have a comment or question? Number starting with area code 951. So you just unmute and then you can ask your question.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Hi
I'm
there.
unmuted.
Okay, there you are. Go
Oh,
ahead.
hi. Oh, hi there. Hi. I'm sorry about that. I forgot about that. I got
That's
on there
okay.
late. It was Central Time. I thought it was something else. Anyway, and this is an embarrassing question, but if I disabled my 5G Motorola 5G because I switched the number to another phone. But anyway, how can I use that phone? Can I use it to practice, to go through apps? And I know I can't make calls or receive calls. And also, what is the best standalone? It could be a matter of preference. The best standalone watch if I wanted to get just a watch, because I don't you press the buttons or turn dials and then tap or something like that. Thank you. I don't want to monopolize the conversation.
No. Okay, so just to clarify, so you have a phone and then you've disabled 5G, so you're wondering what you can do with it at this point. Is that right?
No, I switched the phone number to a different phone, the Smart Vision 2, because I wanted to. I still need a lot of work with the 5G Motorola stylus. So so I don't have any service technically.
Okay.
But can I still use the phone to practice and to swipe and to learn the gestures and stuff? And also, it could be a matter of preference. But is there a standalone watch that is easier than right now if I wanted, get something like that without having a phone to work with the watch? Thank you.
Okay, two questions there. So what can she do with her phone that's not a phone anymore? Anybody?
So this is Kevin.
Go ahead.
You can use the phone just fine on Wi-Fi as long as you can get it connected to your Wi-Fi. All of the apps that you need will still work, except for the phone app. But you can go into your Gmail account and set up Google Voice, and it's kind of a similar situation to the Google phone dialer and the text messages. But if you install the Google Messages app, you can still text over Wi-Fi, or you're supposed to be able to, but my phone's not doing that because I don't have a SIM card in it. But over Google Voice, you can still learn how to use text messages and make phone calls and stuff like that.
All right. So
but
that's
all the apps still work. Be My Eyes, Ira, Bank of America, whatever you have.
What about a standalone Google watch, Android watch? I mean, is there something that?
Hang on, Nancy, one second. I think Hershey wants to finish on this question, and then we'll go to the watch.
Oh,
go ahead,
I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank
you.
you.
That's okay. You're good. Okay, go ahead, Hershey.
So, in between the two scenarios, so we were talking about Sandhya here because she is hosting, and she does have a Pixel 5, right? Now, she could still use that phone without a SIM card at all. And to make a
Yes,
phone
there's no
call,
SIM card.
shoot, right. So same scenario. It doesn't matter if it's a Pixel. I'm just giving you examples. So if she has a phone like that, she could pretty much make a phone call, but she doesn't have a SIM card. So it does not dial out. So what you could make are what is known as voice over IP calls. So Skype, you got Google Voice number. So if you have a Google email address, you pretty much can get a Google Voice number. And if you have decent Wi-Fi in your house, like that stylo, you could still use it up to however you use it. Like, you going to the internet has nothing to do with you making a phone call on it. It's your internet that you're connected to that has to do with everything. So if you're connected to your local Wi-Fi in your house, then you're fine. If you don't have Wi-Fi in your house and you're pretty much running off of internet off of your phone, then yes, this would not be a good idea, because you would need some sort of hotspot or something to connect to. And then as far as watches are concerned, there are many different watches, and it was interesting because I didn't realize Montblanc actually has watches that are Android, and that was pretty cool too. Montblanc's kind of a upper end. I wear their cologne all the time, so I was like, oh, cool. They make a watch. Fossil, they make an Android watch too. But the point of that question, to move forward to that next question, is what is your need? Because my need when I came from my local Lighthouse Central Florida was I had a talking watch. Sure, the voice isn't that fancy or anything, but I push a button, I get my time read to me. On the other side of things, let's say you got a Samsung watch, because that is the only watch I could think of at this point in time that is that I would probably recommend. And that watch will do similar things as, let's say it's 5 o'clock. So your watch might vibrate 5 times on your wrist if that's how you read time. If you're low vision, you have the big, large print of the face. Then the middle grounds is screen readers, it'll have a Talkback as a screen reader on it anyway, because Samsung and Google have merged somewhat with Google Wear. So you will get, apps coming from both sides. If you need something to do, let's say, swimming, how much have you swam, what is your blood BP, etc. The Samsung Watch can offer this. The what do you call it? Like the cardiac beat per second, whatever you call it. But I can't think of the terminology that the Fossil uses. But they have a sensor to monitor those kind of information or pieces of information. So. And at the end of the day, to anybody, the decision is first. Do you want a simplistic watch that's going to give you your time and your date? Second, do you want a watch that's going to be smart, but it's going to be usable? Third, are you really interested in just tracking fitness and other goals and not really caring for other smart features? And then fourth, I want it all. I want the best of it, and I want it all. And, synonymously, the Apple 7 watch is to the Samsung 5 watch, or even a Fossil, or any of those. Is just what apps you use and what is your purpose of it. So hopefully that answers both questions there for you.
Yeah, and so there you go.
Thank
So it
you.
sounds like Nancy wants a simple watch, so I think that's a possibility there, Nancy. Okay, very good.
I do. Thank
okay,
you.
hold on. Here we go. Foster, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to chime in on the watch thing, another company.
Chime in, Foster, really? Chime in?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, there's a company out there called Mobvoi, Mobvoi, and they make Android watches, and they offer simple ones up to the high end ones that have GPS, heart rate tracking, it has all the bells and whistles, and they work really well with Android. With Android phones, because it's they use the Wear 100% Wear OS operating system for the watch, and which includes the Talkback also, as well as there's gestures that you can do on the face of the watch, also to maneuver. And I think with that watch, some of them only have one button on the side, and some of them have, I think, maybe have 2 buttons on the side. But I found it to be pretty user friendly as well. So does anybody use Verizon that has an Android phone?
You're using a Verizon? You want the company,
Yeah.
the
Does anybody
provider?
have Verizon for a cell phone carrier?
All right. Anybody using Verizon cell phone carrier?
Hey, Sunday, I just wanted to throw some stuff. I'm thinking about, I don't use the Verizon, but with the watches again. Foster, would you recommend Garmin? Because we kind of forgot about Garmin in the play of things.
Have they switched over to Android, or are they still using their own system?
Not totally certain, but my boy definitely is cool with the Google Watch that they're talking about. Might be faster, but yeah, my boy has the fastest chip in the watch compared to other watches. So a lot of people did like, and it is accessible. But to all these watches, there's a degree of accessibility, and I think this year is going to be a great year for them. So I recommend go get you a cheap watch for now to tell you the time from your local rehab center, and then when comes October, pick up the Pixel Watch.
Okay.
Yeah, because hopefully that's on all the carriers.
All right. Okay. And I noticed that we have some new people that joined in. So we want to give everybody a chance to ask a question. If you haven't had a turn, just say your name. That's what we're here to help you with questions. So who would like to, anybody that hasn't had a turn, just unmute yourself and pose your question. Say your name and we will help you. Anybody?
Hi, this is Catherine.
Hey, Catherine, welcome back.
Hi. Well, thanks. I'm glad you're talking about the watches because in the last month and a half, I went and looked at the Samsung smartwatch, and I'm very fascinated with it because I think it will be helpful to me. They didn't have it set up with Talkback. It was just the store watch. And so it has a bevel on the edge, and you can move it, and then it was supposed to talk to you when Talkback's on. I think that'll be easy to use. And I also have a Samsung 7-inch phone, and my phone has been acting up lately, and they had a trade-in issue. And so my question is it better for me to just limp along for a little while longer and then in the fall go with getting a new Android phone, Samsung, or and the watch, or should I get it now while it's still on sale through July 7th? Thank you.
All right, Hershey, go ahead.
All right, so the time to buy new stuff is mostly a marketing thing, to be straight up and honest. What is your need is going to be obviously that circumstance thing, and with all these new changes. Now, with a new watch, you said you were looking at the Samsung watch, and one watch I also want to kind of throw in the mix if anybody else wants to give feedback on is the Sunu band, because Sunu band.
Okay, sorry, we're getting some background. Come back in, Hershey. Just have to unmute. Some
Okay, hold on a
background
minute.
noise. Okay, go ahead.
So with the Sunu band, I know that with that specific watch, it is an Android watch, and it does is it LiDAR or sonar? It does sonar, and I know that I've heard that there's another version that is a watch if you don't have any other watches, and if you just want to get something, but maybe you're not totally wanting to dive into the watch ecosystem. That watch is decent because when you wear it on your wrist, if you point it at stuff, it has this kind of bounce back of sonar. So what it does is you go to the mall and you're about to walk through a glass door and look like a foolish person. This watch will bounce back and let you know, hey, wait. There's a glass there. Go to the door handle and pull it. So there is differences between those. Now, when you're coming back to the Samsung watch or the phone, Kevin's kind of made a point from last month. I like everything on board. I like Tensor. What does all this mean? This is all foreign. Tensor is a chip. It's a thing. Everything happens on the phone. So when you're talking to it, hey, a lady or assistant, go do this, and then go message Catherine to say, hey, your question is amazing. Thank you so much. Send. And it's supposed to do all of those functions. Now, Samsung's doing their thing on their corner too. Now, if you like flip phones, I would say wait till the summertime when they announce the Flip 2 or Flip 3 or Flip 4 or Flip whatever, Flip. Whatever number it is, the newest Flip, because what that phone is like a flip phone, like your old Razr phone. And that has Android and all of that fun stuff. So if that could help you, just in the sense of, it's easy in the purse, easy on just in your hand, that could be a choice. The Fold comes out in the summer as well, the Fold 5 or whatever it is, and then the Samsung 5 Watch. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with numbers anymore. But then if you need a phone right away, 6A isn't bad. If you're willing to spend the money, I recommend. If you're partial, with anyone that's low vision, I really recommend go for the Pro phone because the screen is larger, you have more flexibility, you have all the bells and whistles that the phone is going to come out with, and that's going to come out on the Google side. So Pixel 7 Pro would be my recommendation. Wait till October if you need to wait that long, and scamper along. If not, and you want something and you might want to just give Samsung a shot, I would say then you have the S22 Ultra to go from, you have the Fold to go from, you got the Flip to go from. I don't usually recommend the Motorola's and the One Androids, and Foster kind of, asked that question earlier, but the reason why is you're missing out on features and you're missing out on updates on your operating system. And then operating system is not as important, but with security and all of that and Talkback, you want something that has decent hardware behind it. So that's why even the 6A, if no one has it, then yeah, if you want to learn Android, get the 6A. It's beautiful to get because it does what it's supposed to do in the Google ecosystem. On the Samsung side, they alter a little bit here and there, but they're synonymous to what Android is supposed to be. If anything, Samsung have better hardware, in my opinion. And we are learning that, the Pixels are starting to be solid phones. So those are my two recommendations between if you're trying to waver between the two. And then watches, it just depends on your look. I mean, you could buy a Mont Blanc watch, it'll have Android on it, it'll tell you the time. And if you're going to just wear it on your, when you go to meetings and outfits and stuff, then that's your pretty watch. It's not about, it depends on your need for your watch. If you needed to swim and do other activities all day, then yeah, I would definitely recommend get like a Samsung watch or a Fitbit so you're tracking those specific pieces.
All right. So it sounds like Catherine wants something fancy because she liked what she saw, right, Catherine? So everybody's unmuted. I mean, everybody's muted, so you'll have to unmute. But
This is
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to
that's Catherine.
Yeah, hang on, Catherine. Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to Catherine that if the S22 in any of its flavors are on sale, then I would go for it if it's if you can, if it's at a reasonable price, because Samsung has a different release schedule than other people. So it has the 8 Gen 1 processor in it, which is the latest and greatest from Snapdragon. So you're not going to, you might gain a little bit. I don't know what Google is going to do with the Tensor chip in October, but you're not missing out on anything. You have the latest and greatest in the S22 Ultra, and then the some of the health features only work if you have a Samsung phone. If you do choose to get one of the watches, I have the watch, but I don't use the health features. So, but everything that you can see on your watch, you can see on your phone. And there are a couple of things like the snoring detection and a couple of other ones that it only works if you have the Samsung, but you can match that watch with any other Android phone and get most of the features. I think you'd only be missing out on 2 health features if you match it with a different phone.
All right, Catherine.
I see.
You have any?
Well, thank you very much for explaining all of that. I think I'm going to have to update my phone sooner than later. But it is doing better now since I switched out a different charger and a different cable. So it is working better now. Thank you very much for the information about when to wait and that kind of thing.
Okay.
I was hoping to go to the National Convention and see what they have there, and then maybe make my decision after that, I just hope that they will still honor the special that they were running with a price break. You did say something real curious to me about swimming. Is that swimming with the watch? Thank you.
This is Foster.
Foster, go ahead, Foster.
Yeah. Excuse me, I was just wondering, Catherine, who is your carrier?
Verizon.
Okay. Yeah. Just specials.
What are they offering? Is it the Galaxy S22 or the A53?
The A53. And then $150 off the Samsung watch if you buy both at the same time. And the A53 was around $500, and then the watch was $450, so $150 off if you bought both at the same time.
Which phone do you have now?
I have a Samsung 7 Edge.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What should she do? What should she do?
Kevin, would you let me this is an interesting discussion because this is the conversation we love to have is I recommend going towards Pixel because if you go towards Pixel, you're going to get a pure Android feel. If you go towards the Samsung side, you'll have the same feasibility, but I wouldn't recommend the A53 if you're going to go for Samsung. I would go S22 if you're going to go Samsung.
Okay.
So don't go on the A level because the 6A I would go for right away. So why I'm saying that is go to Pixel is if you could wait till July, go ahead and buy that Pixel 6A that we spoke about earlier in the show. And the 6A is for $449 if you came in a little late, no worries. And it has the same chip as the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. So you're not going to miss out on much.
And Hershey, you're still a little low, Hershey. Okay. All right, go ahead, Catherine, and then we need to move on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, what's the difference in the operating system of the Pixel and, say, Samsung? Thank you.
The same thing.
Same
so
thing?
They're both running the 13 or 12 or 13. I mean, those are the two. 13 is in beta right now, so if you wanted to on Pixel devices, you can run it as a beta. And if you wanted to run like my S22 Ultra that I just got recently is running Android 12. And 12 didn't come out right away when I got my phone, I don't think. Or at least on the Samsung side. And on the Pixel side, during the Google I/O event a couple weeks ago, Android 13 is out in beta. So you never know with the Pixel 6a, you'll get you'll get 13 right when it's released. You don't have to wait for an operating system change. With Samsung, with Talkback, you'll have to wait. Not the Android version, but with Talkback. So the reason why I'm saying, as far as accessibility and everything else, if you go in the Google ecosystem, you're a little bit more covered if you're a new user, because anything that gets tweaked or if it's broken gets fixed right away on the Google ecosystem. On the contrary, Samsung does great. They've been actually exceeding a lot of expectations around the community, but on the accessibility side, I still think they lack because they still haven't pushed out really updates and things like that. Even though Talkback, as far as the name Talkback is concerned, are the same screen readers on both phones moving forward.
Oh. Okay, so you're saying, this is my last question, that Talkback is on the Pixel phone also?
Yes, but that is made by Google. Google Talkback is made by Google, and so Google and Samsung used to call it Voice Assistant before, and they changed that to now this new one.
Okay, thank you very much for all your help. Those were my questions that I had tonight. Everyone was very helpful and concise. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. All right. So now moving on, we had a couple more people join us. So we want to make sure that everybody has a turn. So anybody that new wants to ask a question, just say your name and wait to be recognized. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure everybody has a turn. And anybody have a question going on or wondering what to do?
Sandhya.
Yes.
No, I wanted to ask her a question about the watching the swimming.
Okay. Go
She
ahead.
had asked if you would wear. Yes, you would. You would set the watch on swim mode, and it does work wonderfully in the pool because I use mine in the pool, and when you get out, you just tap the button and it spits the water out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
A water spitting phone. All right.
Mhm.
Very good, Ava. Thank you. All right. Who's next? Somebody new? Didn't have a chance? I see people out there, people that joined. Mandy and Marvin, if y'all have questions, you can just pose them, not to put you on the spot, but kind of sort of am. Otherwise, and anybody else? Okay. Otherwise, we could entertain a question from somebody who already had a question. Just try to make sure it's even.
Hershey.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions first? Okay, go on, Hershey.
Okay. For you Samsung users, how do you make continuous, use your phone continuously on other phones? How do you make that work?
Okay, how do you make your phone work continuously on another device?
So let me clarify. So for Samsung users mainly, it says if you have other Samsung devices, you can use your other Samsung devices such as tablets or phones to make phone calls or text off of those particular devices. Anyone know how to do that?
Okay. Anybody? Any help for Hershey?
Do you mean?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Do you mean I can make calls from my watch, but I have LTE and Wi-Fi, but I can make calls from my watch. And because of the integration, I can make call. I have a Samsung laptop. I can make calls from my laptop, but it also has Google Duo on there as well, so I can make video calls through Google. But there's an app called.
Are you using the option called continuous usage on other devices?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes, that's where you can start a note on your laptop and then pick it up on your phone and stuff. I think it's enabled by default on my laptop, but I don't ever use it because I use Google Keep instead of Notes. And
understood.
I don't.
I just felt I could make a phone call.
Hang on.
Yeah,
Let
I
Kevin
don't usually
finish.
make phone calls on my laptop that much, but I mean, I can try it out. I use Microsoft Your Phone more than I use the continuous, but that's just because I was already used to using.
Could you explain to people what that means? Because they're like, your phone. What are you talking about, your phone?
So Your Phone creates a link between your laptop, your Microsoft Windows PC, and your phone, so you can read and respond to text messages, make phone calls using your phone dialer and all that right from your laptop. So you're seeing them on your phone and your laptop, and the interface is pretty accessible. You can, type out your messages on your computer instead of having to touch type or something. So if you're on the phone and you're having a hard time kind of hearing what's going on in a text message thread or whatever, you can handle that on your laptop or something like that, or your tablet or whatever, instead of dealing with it on your phone.
All right.
Okay, for the iPhone users, it's like the comparable to handoff, I guess. So, okay. All right. Thanks, Kevin. All right. New question. Anybody have a question? New question?
This is Foster.
Foster, go ahead.
I do have a new question.
Okay.
So, speaking of PCs, Windows PC, so the latest version of Windows, which I do not have, 11, was supposed to come with Amazon, a link to the Amazon App Store. So has anybody used that link? Or used that feature, rather, I should say?
Anybody?
Because some of us are in the Amazon ecosystem.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to another one. Go ahead, Kevin.
I'm running Windows 11, but I haven't tried the Android app support yet because I don't know which apps in the Amazon app store I would want to use. But I'll look for some that might
Well, like,
be interesting.
yeah, well, like I was thinking, like for a lot of us are Kindle users, so Kindle would be one. Maybe some of us subscribe to Amazon Music. They have the music app.
Okay.
And I wonder. Oh, and then the shopping, of course. Can't forget the shopping. Those Prime members,
Yeah.
key packages
And
coming
then
to
they
that.
have a version of Pandora. They have a version of Skype. So I'll try some of the ones that are
Yeah.
in there.
Okay.
Foster, are
Cool.
you gonna buy me a Google Chromecast for Google TV? Oh,
Actually,
they don't sell it on Amazon.
Are they? They didn't announce anything new about the Chromecast, because that's really what I want. Because the first version of Chromecast with Google, it doesn't have enough storage. It doesn't have enough storage, so I had to rig up
Hershey, if I
a.
could give you trends, Foster, I
Okay,
would say
go ahead,
the third quarter with trends is when
Mhm.
Google Smart Home goes along. So
Oh,
end of
okay.
July is when that stuff comes out. So you might look at that. I've been looking at the trends of Google, and
Right.
their trend is usually towards then. They don't say much, but it's like, oh yeah, we had a smart home event. Like, really? What smart home event are you talking about? And the speakers pop out of nowhere, and then that's when the Google Audio speakers came out, right? So I would say check at the end of summer if they do decide to come, because I've heard about different things that, hardware is supposed to get all this upgrade, and let's see.
Okay, thanks.
All right, this is Sandhya. I actually have a quick Amazon question. Foster got it started here. Okay, so this is the background because I know y'all wonder like if I'm like crazy or whatever, but okay, my mom almost set the house on fire last week. Okay, so we decided that we need some new protocols for when you're cooking, turn on the timer, right? Use the A lady to set a timer. Okay, that's fine. But they're also kind of hard of hearing. So is there a way for this timer to be heard on all of the devices? So if she walks off into her room, she can hear it, or that's the question. Like it's fine for the A lady in the kitchen, but if she's not in the kitchen to hear it, then what can I do? Any thoughts? Anybody?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's always something, Kevin.
That's a good question because
Foster,
I have my music going all through the house, but I never thought about could I set a timer to go off on each device. Now you gave me something to work on.
Yes, this is Ava.
Yes, go ahead, Ava.
Yes, you can. What you have to say is, Lady A, set my timer on all my Alexa devices for
the verbiage of the English language
Ziggy,
is quite
stop.
difficult.
Okay, because she's already like kind of like all intimidated because her English isn't very good. So she's like already afraid of this thing,
Sandhya,
but just set, yes.
Sandhya,
go ahead.
I know sometimes I throw Google out there way too much because I got called out, Mr. Google, whatever. If you might try the Google speakers, you could even have it talk in Tamil or this or that, whatever language, Marathi. You could talk to it in that language.
Yeah, the question is not the talking; it's to being able to
like if
hear
you're setting
it.
timers and doing all of that, and you set it, hey, set it throughout make it speak on all my speakers.
Yeah,
they all kind of work the same way because you want the timer to be known everywhere.
Right.
And with even with Alexa side, it does do that, but I'm just saying it's language and everything else. Yeah. And even with Amazon, I think they have language built in. So even if changing languages sometimes does help for like my family, I speak different languages in my house. Mm-hmm. So I understand where you're coming from, but it's just the usability of it.
Right. Even I don't think at this point, I don't think it's the language. I think it's just getting into the habit and just like, oh, I don't need this. So we're still working on a lot of different levels. But okay.
The language to continue. The language I have, okay, G, turn on the sitting room lights. But then I could say, okay, G, turn on the lights. It's going to do the same thing if I'm in that room. So there's the differentials of languages. So saying certain terms added helps a lot.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That will help us a lot. Okay. Yes. All right. Who's next? Anybody else with some Amazon questions? Those are also definitely fair game for this call. So we'd love to have any of those. Got about 15 more minutes on our call, so just be thinking about any questions you might have.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Well, I like to
Foster.
keep the conversation going. So
Okay.
for those who have Fire Sticks, what is your opinion of voice view?
What is your plan of what?
What is your opinion of the voice view, of how it operates, how it works?
Okay. Is that Hershey?
They stole all the voices away. That's my opinion. They took out Ivona and they took it all away from Android, because this is why Android is so difficult at this point. We don't have good voices because once upon a time Ivona was on Android. Now all we have left is acapella and vocalizer voices from Code Factory. So yeah, otherwise the layout of Fire Stick is not that bad as far as implementation, but there's still not enough control once it starts yapping. Like, okay, you can make it play and pause by hitting the mute button or the play pause button, but the integration between things, the high quality of level of audio, things like that coming into the device. And this is a good follow-up question to you. Would you buy the 4K Max Fire Stick? Because you could put better audio, you could listen to 5.1, if you have a system like that. And what is it to audio description moving forward?
This is Kevin.
Go
My
ahead.
experience with the voice view has been pretty good. The only problem is something that I'm guessing that they're not going to do. It seems like there's not enough RAM in the TVs. I have a TV and I have a Fire Stick, but it stutters. So, I mean, there's so much lag, like a lot of lag, and it has to be that's a high quality voice. Allison is a high quality voice, and then it's trying to read, but I mean, some days it goes right along, and then some days it just might be waiting, 30 or 40 seconds before it says anything. So it seems like there's a RAM issue. But as far as, there's nothing that you can't do. There's no setting you can't get to. It's just really great. Being able to switch HDMI and change, any other settings, your audio settings and surround sound and all that, and load a external antenna if you wanted to. So all that, they have all that part done really well. It just works much better on devices with more RAM, like a Fire tablet, like the like the HD8 that has like 3 gigs of RAM. It's much snappier. The performance is much better.
Okay. All right, Foster. Hope that helps. Anybody else? So that's your Chromecast, right, Foster?
No, that was Fire Stick. Chromecast.
Oh, Fire Stick. Fire Stick. Sorry. Fire Stick. Okay.
Sandhya, he's sending me a Chromecast. That's what he's saying.
Chromecast with Google. That works pretty well too. The Talkback works pretty well on that as well.
Yes.
I actually prefer the Chromecast with Google.
Okay,
hey,
well,
this is Hershey. Sandhya, you think we want to show them how to do the quick the gesture customization real quick?
Okay, you have it set up then?
No,
yeah.
I don't. Let's set it up. Ready, set, go. Plug, play.
USB connector connected.
Okay, we're connected. We're connected.
Talkback menu. Actions in
Hopefully
list.
that's not too loud. So we hit the 3-finger tap, as Kevin had mentioned earlier during the show. 3-finger tap brings up your menu.
Cancel button out of Talkback menu. Actions in list. Page nav. Read from next. Copy last. Spell last. Sound feedback. Screen search. Talkback settings. Text to speech settings.
Okay.
Do not disturb. Do not disturb. Sleeping. Every except calls, messages, and conversation. 1 UI home.
See?
Talkback. Text-to-speech settings. Talkback setting. Navigate customize gestures, 9 of 14.
So at the top,
Customize focus indicator.
I'm low vision, so I'm kind of flipping around for you guys, but I'm going to go put my fingers at the top and I'll scroll down for you. So
Controls. Head showing new features in Talkback, 1 of 14.
That's 1 of 14 items.
Audio, heading, 2 of 4. Text-to-speech settings, 3 of 14. Verbosity, 4 of 14. Speak passwords, passwords always spoken, on, switch,
You always want to
5
have
of
that
14.
checked off because even if you're on your home screen trying to unlock your phone, it will not read and you could get stuck. If you ever have to reset your phone, like a Samsung phone, remember, hit the 3 fingers when you're setting up after Talkback is said it's enabled and go turn on that setting on. Otherwise, any password you put in, like it says, hey, create a password, will not be read.
Sound and vibration, 6 of 14.
You hear the sound still, so...
Controls, heading, customize focus indicator, 8. Customize gestures, 9 of 14.
And that's who we wanted. We double
Customize
tap.
gestures, navigate up, button, out
If
of
you want
list.
sound effects,
Customize practice gestures, 1 of 51.
one
In
of our,
list,
one of our
51
cool
items.
here at iBUG has been on Blind Abilities. Go check that out. It's pretty cool.
Reset gesture settings, 2 of 1 finger, heading,
So
3
you
of
have a heading,
51.
right? And with the heading, you have different gesture sets you could set.
Swipe up, move swipe down, move navigation focus forward or adjust. Swipe left, previous item, 6 of 51. Swipe right, next item, 7.
As you notice, there are 51 items in this, so I'm kind of touching my fingers with 2 fingers on the screen to make it hush, because otherwise you'll just keep going. There's 61 items. So.
1 finger back and forth, heading, 8 of 51. Swipe up then down, previous reading control. Swipe down then up, next swipe left then right, swipe right then left, swipe left then right, swipe.
So that's one menu that I
settings.
wanted to show, but I think Rhonda had a question earlier. Is I take my 3 fingers and swipe up and I do these weird things, and how do I close an app? Well, customized gestures would have been that place, but
Customize menus, 10 of 14.
the
Showing
customized
items 1 to
menu is similar to what you would call is found in the rotor. So the rotor, you're spinning your fingers and getting characters, words, etc. And in the past calls we've had spoken, like as you're speaking, spoken language was an issue by Erica last call. And we were able to help her there to either turn that thing off. So I'm going to go to Talkback menu.
Customize menus, 10 of 14.
Customize menu, rather.
Customize menus,
And
navigate
here-
up, button,
Here are
out of
some of
list.
the choices.
Customize menus. Customize Talkback menu. To use the Talkback menu, tap the screen with 3 fingers. You can also swipe up then right, or swipe down then right, 1 of 2, in list, 2
And
items.
I'm using Ava Vocalizer Voice, more than likely. If not, it's Zoe.
Customize reading controls. To use the reading controls, swipe left or right with 3 fingers. You can also swipe up or down with 3 fingers, 2 of.
So it explains those little bits to you.
Customize
So
Talkback.
let's go to
Customize Talkback menu. Customize Talkback actions for current item. Checked. Checkbox.
So if
actions.
you want actions to show up in the list when I hit 3 fingers,
Talkback menu. Copy
That's-
last spoken phrase.
this is that list. The Talkback menu is this list, and I could add or remove things to my liking. Sometimes you might not want everything in the kitchen sink in there. So it's best to take what you like and
Spell last
you
spoken
could do
phrase.
spell last spoken phrase. Otherwise, spell the word.
Sound feedback on.
Sound feedback on or off. I like that because
Sound feedback off. Not checked. Check.
you hear
Checked.
the
Check.
difference.
Not checked.
No voices.
Checked.
Sound
Not
of-
checked. Not checked. Not checked.
So
Checkbox.
there's
Actions.
always
Shows when
there's always these little clinky sounds, and if you don't need it, and if you're better with vibration, as how I like to use my phone. I know a lot of iOS users don't like the vibration, but for me, it gives me, the inkling of this is how I'm using my phone or device. And if I'm going through different apps and things, they'll work the same way. And with the menus, again, the action menus, they work particularly to an app as you have it on focus. Sometimes copy last utterance doesn't always copy because it's the way of Android's app is built, because it'll say, well, it can't copy last something because you're not in an edit field. And mostly things you could copy should be in an edit field, like an email that you're like email body or email address. So when you're looking at these different components, just note that, customized gestures do a lot of different things. I have transitioned pretty lightly coming from Voice Assistant. Voice Assistant is set up just like iOS, if anything, in my opinion. But one thing that Ava and I talked about earlier is how to tell time. And maybe anybody else wants to kind of tag in towards the end of the year to say, how do you tell time? Because on the voice assistant, I think it's like a 3-finger double tap or something. It reads a status bar. So the basic idea here is, if you want to read the status bar, you want to set a gesture to that or something like that. If you want to, do certain functions on your phone that will help you to do things quicker, those gestures are where it could help. I like to use voice commands. If I swipe up and left.
Spoken feedback is off.
Well, now you're not going to hear my phone, so that's that, and I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you, Hershey, for that. And then anybody have any quick questions about the customized gestures? That's pretty cool. So lots of choices there, gives you a lot of power. Anybody have any favorite ones that they have
Sandhya
set up?
does not have the mute button for mute all. Sorry.
Okay. Anybody have any other thoughts or questions about that? Okay. Let's see.
So Sandhya, where did they find us then? How are they going to come back?
Yeah, they're all there. They can.
No, but how do they get to us again? Next month? When is the date?
Okay. Yes. So that'll be the third Wednesday. I believe that will be the 15th. We'll have to check on.
Yes.
Ava's cool at this stuff, man. Ava's our
It is
Amazon girl.
June 15th.
All right. And so, yes, and then you can always subscribe at iBUG Android Insight Plus. Subscribe at groups.io. So that's where you can get on our mailing list. And that way you'll get notifications of, topics or information that the members of our group might share, and of information of upcoming events that we're doing, reminders of this meeting. And let's see, definitely visit our website, ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. All of our past
Android on Saturday though.
Okay, hang on one second. So yeah, the iBUG Android Insight is going to take place on every third Wednesday, and so all of the prior calls that we've had are archived on our website. And so that is under the Android Insight tab on our website. Okay, so that way, if you missed anything or you want to go back and look at anything, you can go back, and there's several, all of them are there. And like Hershey mentioned,
June 1st is Android Insight's birthday, but next week is iBUG's birthday. So hopefully everybody that is on this call, please come to our birthday.
Yeah,
it's going to be an awesome celebration. And we always encourage donations and stuff. The 6A and all of these are expensive devices for us. I mean, as much as you donate, we could try to bring these devices in front of you. So, we highly recommend, if you want to donate, we'll go pick up the Pixel tablet, the phone, whatever you guys need, and how we could help you use these devices, because that's the important part. You get the device, but how do you use it? So please, I encourage you to go to ibugtoday.com and, come visit our celebration coming up.
Yeah, so that is on this Saturday from 2 to 4 Central Time. And that will be here on this same Zoom conference line. And we are, like we said, doing the fundraiser. So there's still plenty of time to, to make a donation of $10 for the chance to win the $500 gift card to the Apple Store. And also, you can do $50 and get a chance of 6 tickets. We would appreciate your support. Like we said, we are a nonprofit organization, and all of our services that we provide are free. And in addition to the various Android training that we're talking about here, we also provide forms of training on the iPhone. We provide training on the Mac, and then we provide one-on-one training on the iPhone, in addition to the various group trainings. And we've got all these other social events going on. And just to recap, tomorrow is iBUG Trekkie Talk, watching the Next Generation Season 4, Episodes 16 and 17. Then Friday is our iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. We'll be watching A Room with a View. A Room with a View. It's a romantic comedy, so it should be fun, a little lighthearted, and it'll be good. And then our anniversary celebration on Saturday. So with that, we are basically at the end of our call. So thank you so much, Ava and Hershey, for all your help. And all the people that helped in answering and asking questions. We could do this without you. So hope you all will come back and take care. Okay. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Yes.